As many of you are aware, the slogan of this channel is "No shaming, just gaming." So how do I deal with a situation like Hogwarts Legacy, where there is a campaign to shame people into not playing the game, alongside a counter campaign to shame people into playing the game? I mean, look, I want people to be able to exercise their right to free speech however they want. But how am I supposed to deal with this? Change my slogan to "No shaming, just gaming," except if the people in charge are bad guys? If that's the case, can we go after Brian Kelly, Bobby Kotick, and the rest of the board of Activision Blizzard for systemically exploiting children? How about Nestle using enslaved African children to produce chocolate? I first started communicating my desire to cover Hogwarts Legacy in 2021 after I released my video covering parody games. The game's release was delayed from 2022 to 2023, and it was only about 8 months ago when I started to get pushback for wanting to cover this title through messages on Discord and Patreon. This criticism spiked in July when I released my review for Lost Academy entitled it Harry Potter in College. Because, I mean, look at it. I was told that I was being transphobic, and by supporting J.K. Rowling, I was endangering the lives of people in my community. To be honest, this really confused me because Lost Academy has nothing to do with J.K. Rowling. But maybe this is a Voldemort thing, and just by saying the name Harry Potter, I'm giving power to this Dark Lord. Did you know that last October the totally not slaves of Apple, who were being forced to work by Foxconn and not allowed to leave, had a mass breakout after the food had run out and health conditions had deteriorated to a deadly level? Fortunately, the Chinese government was about to round up these escaped totally not slaves and reintern them at the facility, while Bloomberg and other journalistic outlets raised concerns on how this would affect iPhone availability for Christmas. As for me, the conclusion I came to would be to release the planned Harry Potter parody game video, and because the Harry Potter universe is pro-slavery, especially Hogwarts Legacy, to release another video in support of goblins who are somehow the bad guys of Hogwarts Legacy because they don't want to be enslaved by wizards anymore. But I'll talk more about that in the review. My plan was to mention the controversy, call J.K. Rowling a Dark Lord, and try not to talk too much about the situation. However, I received massive pushback from people sympathetic to J.K. Rowling's position. I've gotta be honest, maybe I was a little naive, but I had no idea that calling J.K. Rowling a Dark Lord would get so much pushback. I mean, while Rowling isn't as demonstratively evil as Bobby Kotick or Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Alphabet, they're all assholes who work to make the world a worse place in their own way. Speaking of which, did you know that Google is working with the Saudi government to create a Google Cloud region in Saudi Arabia? I can't imagine how that could possibly lead to the deaths of political activists or, LGBTQ people. This whole situation reminds me of when the Westboro Baptist Church would protest the funerals of American service people who died in the line of duty. Their premise was that God hates, and that because of America's tolerance of gay rights and gay culture, God was punishing us for our collective sins. They protested the funerals of slain service members. This was a demographic most likely to contest with the expansion of gay rights, including fighting against allowing gay marriage. But because the Westboro Baptist Church was so hateful and divisive, they probably did more for the expansion of gay rights than any other group in the 20th century. Harry Potter fans are a group most likely to be in support of the expansion of LGBTQ rights. But by supposed trans activists going after them, they are literally helping to attack their own base. Like I said, you have the right to protest however you want. Well, not in Saudi Arabia. But did Dr. Martin Luther King and the rest of the civil rights leaders go into desegregated restaurants and tell the white customers if they went into a whites-only restaurant then they were enemies of the civil rights movement? I'm really sure that would have been highly productive. Look, I can tell from the comments that I have a lot of liberal and a lot of conservative viewers. I mean, it makes sense. Everyone likes sex. Sex Positive Gaming is a social justice channel. It's a channel about civil rights. It's just that I'm focused on one specific right, that everyone should have access to a safe and healthy way to explore sex and sexuality. By doing so, we lower crime, increase overall mental health, and make the world a better place. Now, what safe and healthy means is going to be open to debate. But as of right now, even having this conversation is illegal in most of the world. Every human on the planet cares about social justice and civil rights. We just don't agree on what justice means and what those rights should be. Allowing 10-year-olds to vote is a civil rights position. I mean, it's a pretty dumb one, but it's still a civil rights position. So I welcome everyone who agrees that everybody should have access to a safe and healthy way to explore sex and sexuality. That includes people that think drastically differently than I do. I welcome your feedback and your criticism. The only thing that I ask is that you resist attacking each other when you disagree about other topics. There are plenty of breadtube and swamp fascist channels on YouTube that encourage that, but getting videos out on YouTube about sex and sexuality in video games is hard enough without getting drawn into the morass of what is and is not hate speech. I'm sorry that I had to make this video. This community is awesome, and I want to continue to try to cover the occasional AAA title. The next one I'm planning to play is Starfield. I'm also excited about this one, and hopefully this won't turn into another battlefield of the ever-evolving culture war. But even if it does, I really hope we can find a way to stick to the no-shaming theme of this channel. Let me know what you think. I understand that this is very meaningful for many of you, so feel free to reach out to me personally on Patreon or Discord if you don't want to post publicly. Hopefully we can use this movement and this game to become just a little more civil with each other, and maybe, just maybe, the fans and haters of NTR can find a game they both equally like. Until next time, no shaming, just gaming. Thanks to all this month's support on Patreon. I wouldn't have been able to do this without you all.